Hi everyone, happy Monday. I have a special guest with us today who is going to listen along as I read the book to everyone. This is Cami. I know I've talked about her. Some of you have seen her. If you're in my homeroom, you've seen her on my video camera that I have, or even just pictures. But this is Cami, and she was excited to be a part of the video today. I hope you guys had a great weekend. We are going to read pages 214 through 219 in our science book today. So if you can, make sure that you are on page 214, and I will go ahead and start reading. You can find seashells on many ocean beaches. These shells are from animals that are living today. Suppose you found a rock that had something in it that looks like a seashell. This is a trace of an animal that lived long ago. What other traces of past life might you find? So let's read the little captions. Up at the top, sometimes whole organisms can be preserved as fossils. This baby mammoth was frozen in ice. Its soft tissues were preserved along with its bones and teeth. Insects can get trapped in tree resin. Hardened resin is called amber. Insect parts and even whole insects are often preserved in amber. All living things contain the element carbon. Some plant tissues get preserved as carbon films in rock. Footprints are examples of trace fossils. These features show that an animal was there even though none of its parts were preserved. So trace fossils, you're able to find the trace of a living thing that was there. On page 215, the preserved remains or traces of a living thing is called a fossil. Fossils can be made of an organism's hard parts or its soft parts. Hard parts include bones, teeth, and shells. Soft parts are tissues such as skin and organs. Because bacteria quickly break down soft tissue, soft parts are rare as fossils. Soft part fossils can be original tissue if it has been frozen or dried out, as in a mummy. They can also be preserved as an impression in a rock. Most fossils are found in sedimentary rock. One common way that fossils form is shown at the right. Another way fossils form occurs as minerals such as quartz replace the shell or plant material that made up the organism. This is how petrified wood forms. Sometimes the replacement is so perfect that even the bark and wood grain are visible. These mold and cast fossils were made when a leaf was preserved into soft mud, leaving a hollow space called a mold. A cast can form if the mold is later filled with the mud that hardens. Let's look at the right-hand side there at fossil formation. An animal dies and settles in the bottom of a body of water. Sediment buries the animal. Over time, the soft parts of the animal decay. Hard parts are preserved in sediment as fossil. Plants and animals shown on these pages are fossils. Scientists study many types of fossils to help them learn about ancient life on Earth. Let's look at the question there. What might you leave behind? Draw a set of footprints or other trace that you might leave. Explain what part of your body would make the trace and what your trace fossil would tell future scientists. So go ahead and think about a trace fossil that you could possibly leave behind as you're moving. So think about maybe moving through the snow in the winter, and maybe where do you leave a trace fossil in the snow? Moving on to page 216. Fossil features. Scientists study fossils to see how animals and plants from long ago were the same and different. Seed ferns were plants that lived on Earth long ago. These animals don't look exactly alike, but scientists put them in the same groups, called trilobites. The animals both had exoskeletons and 3 body segments. Scientists know this by looking at their fossils. Okay, so there's 4 different kinds of trilobites, but still in the trilobite family or group. Page 217. When scientists find a fossil, they need a way to identify it. They can compare the fossil to other fossils. The scientists look at the fossil's physical characteristics to see if it is like other fossils. Looking up at the top. Giant ground sloths once lived in North America. They ate bark and leaves stripped from trees by long claws. Scientists can tell they were mammals from the bones. Brachiopods were small sea animals without backbones. They looked a little like clams. Rhizonians were small sea animals without backbones. They lived in small groups and fed on tiny organisms that floated in the water. So now let's look down at the bottom. Name that fossil. Look at the fossils. Identify characteristics of each. Can you identify it as one of the fossils you have learned about? Okay, so looking at those two, what are they based on up earlier on page 217? Page 218. What fossils tells us? Fossils can tell us a lot about what life on Earth was like in the past. Scientists who study fossils are called paleontologists. They study fossils to learn what life on Earth was like long ago. Fossils show that some type of plants and animals have changed a lot. Other plants and animals have hardly changed at all. We have our jawless fish, our armored fish. The woolly mammoth is related to modern elephants. It lived during the Ice Age when the climate was very cold. Today's elephants live mostly in warm climates. The modern fish. Fish have changed a lot over time. The first fish had no jaws. Over time, fish developed jaws and became larger. Some fish developed heavy armor plates that covered their bodies, and fish today have jaws, but no armor. And the ginkgo tree has been around for at least 420 million years. The leaves of today's ginkgo look very similar to those that grew long ago. Organisms that look as if they have not changed much over time are sometimes called living fossils. Do the math. Let's do a little math. Look at the data table to see how many years ago the animal became extinct. Then answer the question. So what is the difference between when the dire wolf became extinct and when the woolly mammoth became extinct? So you have to find the woolly mammoth and the dire wolf, and you have to find the difference. What does the difference mean? Difference means subtract, okay? So make sure you find the difference. So you subtract how long ago the dire wolf went extinct and how long ago the woolly mammoth went extinct. And that is all of our reading today, okay? I hope you enjoyed listening to me read, and I hope it helped you out. And I hope you enjoyed our guest today, Cami. Cami, say bye. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you later. Bye.